Hi, welcome to SAPUI5 tutorial. Today in this tutorial we are going to learn what is internationalization in SAPUI5 and how to implement this internationalization in SAPUI5. I can say I18N concept. Okay, so let's say in case if you are developing an application which can be accessed in a different languages, like if in case if you want to access this application over the world, then obviously you have to your application should support multiple languages, so then only it can be accessed internationally. Like if case if you want to access the application in German language, then obviously your application should support this German language. So then how to implement the internationalization concept in SAP Wi-Fi. For that there is something called as I18N or resource bundle, or something called as uh, I18N concept. Okay, so in case if you want to implement that, then obviously you have to have different files. So let's see what are the different files, and let's say for example, if you see here, this is a registration form. So in English it will be called as a registration form, but in German it will be a different. And if you can see here, it's a basic information in German. In some other, in a French it will be a different one. So then, so let's say if the application is accessed by the French people, then in case if you want to show all this in a French, okay, so then you should implement that internationalization concept. So to implement that, so let's create an I18N file the way I have created here. So I have created one folder called I18N, and inside this I18N file I have something called as message bundle dot properties. Okay, so let me delete this, I don't want this. Okay, so inside this message bundle dot properties I don't have anything, right? So that means depending upon the locale of the language, you are going to render the data. Okay, so now what I will do is in case if you go back to this browser and in the registration form, if you go back to this view, let's see how we have uh, given this name, right? So here we just hard coded this name, so we should not hard code the name, we have to get this one from the model. So that model should access this particular message bundle dot properties. So in this properties we are going to mention all key value page. So let's say for registration form, registration underscore, okay, form equals to, okay, so registration form. Okay, so then what are there? So it's a basic information, right? So the basic, create one more property for this basic information, basic underscore information equals to, so it's the basic information, sorry, okay, and then what are the rest? For name, and then date of birth and contact number. Okay, so go here and create one more property called name, it's name, okay, and then contact underscore number equals to contact number, okay, and then date of birth, okay, and then here date of birth, and then save this file. So now what you need to do is you need to access this file from your component. To access this file in your component, go to the component and then give some property here, so which specifies the location of this particular file. So what is that property? So in a config object, okay, so give one more property called resource bundle and give that particular properties file. Okay, so message bundle dot properties. Okay, so now we have configured the location of this particular file, and then we need to read this particular file. How can we read? So there is something called as resource bundle. Okay, so there is something called as resource bundle. You need to get that particular resource bundle, create the object of resource bundle, and then set it to the component. So for that, so you need to do like this. Okay, so let's go to the init method, and in here just try to read this particular org edu, so it will construct a path. Okay, and then so you have to create a resource model, and then you need to set the resource model to the component. So how can you set it? So we are getting a module path, and this is a registration resource model, and then inside the resource model you are giving a bundle URL. So bundle URL is this one, source path, and it will so the output of this particular line is org slash edu slash UI slash, so this one, what is that, this slash i18n slash message bundle dot properties. It will construct the complete URL, and then it will give this URL to this particular resource model. It will create the model out of this file, and then we are setting this model with the name called i18n. Okay, so now if you have a look at this, what is this resource model? So let's see, we need to tell SAP UI5 that where from this resource model is coming, right? So as we discussed in this previous tutorial, that so we have to, in case if there is any dependencies, so we need to load all the dependencies in here first, right? So here we need to give the resource model. So what is that resource model? So it is SAP UI model resource model. Okay, SAP UI model, resource model, and resource model. So then this class will be accessed with the help of this name. Okay, I'm just loading this model, and then I'm using this model. Let's run this project and then see what's gonna happen, whether is there any error or not. Okay, copy this and go back to the browser and paste it here and then refresh. See, there is no error. So now we are able to load. Let's go back to the console and see for the errors. Let's see here. So there is no error, CSS style. Okay, so it's not a big deal. So see, we are not working with the CSS now. Okay, so now go back to the Eclipse, and then now try to get the values from here, from this particular so file. So this is a key and this is a value, right? In case if you want to access the values from the named model, how can we access? So let's go back to this page, and instead of title, instead of hard coding this, what you do is you need to get this one from the uh, model called i18n, right? So in case if you want to bind this title, then obviously see here, this is how we are using the syntax to bind the data, right? So in the same way, so to bind this title, so we have to use this particular syntax, right? Then i18n, okay, i18n, so followed by greater than, so then followed by the key, okay, registration form. Copy here, paste it, save this. So that means what this is, so the moment when this SAP UFO renders this particular view, it will check for this particular registration underscore form key in this particular i18n model. Okay, what is this i18n model? If you go back to this component here, and then in here you can find i18n, okay, model, that is this object. In this object is pointing to this particular resource path. What is this resource path? This is the resource path of that means this file. So from this file it is going to accept all the things. So now we binded this particular key to the title of this particular form, right? So now let's see whether we binded successfully or not. Okay, let's see now. See, we are getting it from the registration form. Let's say if the key does not exist, in i18n file, then what's gonna happen, right? So let me go back to this message bundle.properties. Let me remove this one. Okay, save this and go back to the browser. Okay, go back to the browser and then try to refresh this. Now you can see the difference. See, so if the key does not exist, then obviously whichever the key you configured, it will render the same. So if the key exists, it will get the value from that, right? So now go back to your Eclipse again, just refresh, sorry, Control Z, so it will get your changes back. Okay, so now this is how. So in case if you want to bind the basic information, so then obviously, so you have to use this particular syntax. Okay, copy this and go here and paste it. And what is that key? It is the basic, sorry, Control Z. So it is the basic information. Go back here and then instead of this, paste it here. In the same way, copy this one and go to first name, sorry, name, Control Z. Okay, so remove this, and then here type only name. Okay, so now what you do is copy this again, go to the date of birth field, paste it, and what is the key for that? This is date of birth. Okay, sorry, it is DATE. Okay, so copy this and go back to this one and then paste it here. Okay, in the same way, copy this one, do the same thing for contact number, paste it here and go back here and then get the key from here. Okay, copy this key and go back here and then configure the key here. Okay, save this and go back to your browser and then refresh the browser. You can see registration form, basic information, name, date of birth and contact number, right? So this is how we are going to implement the internationalization concept in SAP UI5. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. So let's meet in the next tutorial.